Imagine a massive, bustling metropolis that generates tons of trash every single day. If the garbage trucks stop rolling, the entire city grinds to a halt under the weight of its own waste. Inside your skull, a nearly identical process is happening right now. Your brain consumes a massive 20% of your body's energy, and all that hard work produces a tremendous amount of toxic cellular garbage. For over a century, scientists were completely baffled by a major biological mystery. How does the brain take out the trash? The answer is a discovered not long ago night shift cleaning crew called the glymphatic system. In this video, we are breaking down how this secret plumbing network flushes away the proteins linked to Alzheimer's and many other types of garbage, and the simple lifestyle changes, like your exact sleeping position, you can use to optimize it. Let's dive in. What is the glymphatic system? To understand what the glymphatic system is, it helps to break down its unique name. The word is a combination of two biological terms, glial cells and the lymphatic system. Glial cells, specifically a star-shaped type called astrocytes, are the support cells of the brain. Instead of firing electrical signals like neurons do, astrocytes act like caretakers, protecting and maintaining the brain's environment. The glymphatic system is a specialized waste clearance network that uses these astrocytic cells to push fluid through the brain, acting just like the lymphatic plumbing found in the rest of your body. The brain's unique plumbing challenge. The brain cannot use standard lymphatic vessels because it is protected by a strict security barrier known as the blood-brain barrier. This barrier seals off the brain's blood vessels to prevent harmful toxins and bacteria from entering the delicate neural tissue. However, this high security also makes it difficult to move fluid and waste out. To solve this, the glymphatic system utilizes a clever anatomical trick. It takes advantage of the empty space surrounding the outside of the brain's blood vessels. This space is called the perivascular space, which translates to around the vessel space. You can picture the brain's blood vessels as large pipes inside a slightly larger outer sleeve. The gap between the inner pipe and the outer sleeve creates a perfect, unobstructed highway for fluid to travel. The convective flush. The fluid that cleans the brain is called cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF. This clear, water-like fluid constantly bathes the outside of the brain. The glymphatic system works by pulling clean CSF from the outside of the brain, forcing it through the perivascular spaces into the deep tissue, and washing it across the brain cells. As the CSF washes through the brain tissue, it mixes with interstitial fluid, which is the fluid that sits directly around your neurons. This movement is called a convective flush. Think of it like turning on a garden hose to wash dirt off a sidewalk. The continuous pressure of the fresh fluid sweeps the accumulated cellular waste away. Once the fluid collects the trash, it flows into channels surrounding the brain's veins, exits the skull, and drains into the body's standard lymph nodes to be safely filtered out. The breakthrough, how it was discovered. For decades, the scientific community believed that the brain cleared its waste incredibly slowly through passive diffusion. This is a slow process where molecules gradually spread out on their own, much like a drop of food coloring slowly dispersing in a glass of still water. However, passive diffusion is far too slow to clean an organ as metabolically active as the human brain. While some scientists in the mid to late 20th century noticed that fluids injected into the brain seemed to travel along specific pathways near blood vessels, they couldn't prove a formal system existed. The technology of the time required scientists to slice and chemically fix brain tissue to view it under a microscope. This preservation process caused the delicate perivascular spaces to collapse, effectively hiding the brain's plumbing system from view. The 2012 discovery. The true breakthrough came in 2012 from a team of researchers led by Dr. Maiken Nedergaard at the University of Rochester Medical Center, alongside lead author Dr. Jeffrey Iliff. The team used advanced technology to watch the living brain take out its trash in real time. To achieve this, the researchers bypassed the limitations of dead tissue by utilizing two modern scientific tools. First, they used in vivo 2-photon imaging. This advanced, ultra-high-resolution laser microscope allows scientists to look directly through a microscopic window into the brains of living mice. By injecting safe, glowing fluorescent dyes into the cerebrospinal fluid, the team could literally watch the fluid pulse through the perivascular spaces and flush across the living brain tissue. Second, they used genetically modified knockout mice. The researchers suspected that star-shaped astrocytes were actively assisting this fluid movement. Astrocytes have specialized water channels called aquaporin 4, or AQP4, clustered heavily on their end feet, which are the parts of the cell that wrap around blood vessels like insulation on a pipe. To prove these channels act as the gateway for the fluid flush, the team used bioengineered mice that completely lacked the AQP4 gene. When they ran the imaging test on these mice, they discovered that fluid clearance plummeted by roughly 70%. This elegant experiment proved that brain cleaning wasn't just a passive, slow drift. It was an active, highly organized plumbing network driven by astrocytic water gates. Dr. Nedergaard dubbed this newly mapped pathway the glymphatic system. What does the glymphatic system do? The glymphatic system has one primary mission: maintaining the delicate environment your brain needs to function properly. It accomplishes this through several critical jobs. 1. Washing away neurotoxic proteins. Just like a car engine produces exhaust when it burns fuel, your neurons produce waste proteins as they burn energy throughout your waking hours. Under normal circumstances, these proteins are harmless byproducts. However, if they are left to sit in the brain tissue, they can misfold, stick together, and become highly toxic to neurons. The glymphatic system is directly responsible for flushing away several dangerous waste proteins. One major target is amyloid-beta, a sticky protein fragment that can clump together to form large plaques outside of brain cells. Another is tau protein, a structural protein that can warp and form tangled knots inside neurons, choking them from the inside out. It also clears alpha-synuclein, another waste protein that can build up into toxic deposits. By continuously washing these proteins out of the brain tissue, the glymphatic system keeps your neural pathways clear and prevents toxic buildups. 2. Distributing vital nutrients. The glymphatic system isn't just an exit, it's also a delivery route. The convective flow of cerebrospinal fluid acts like a gentle river that carries important molecules across the brain tissue. It helps distribute glucose, which is the brain's primary fuel, as well as essential lipids, amino acids, and chemical messengers that brain cells need to repair themselves and grow. 3. The sleep-dependent overdrive. The most fascinating feature of the glymphatic system is that it operates almost entirely while you are fast asleep. During the day, when you are awake and learning, your brain is focused on processing information. To keep neurons packed tightly together for fast electrical communication, the extracellular space, the gaps between brain cells, is highly constricted. This tight packing creates high resistance, making it nearly impossible for cerebrospinal fluid to flow through the tissue. When you fall into deep slow-wave sleep, which is the deepest stage of non-REM sleep, a dramatic physical transformation occurs. The astrocytic support cells physically shrink, expanding the space between brain cells by roughly 60%. Suddenly, the tight gridlock opens up, tissue resistance vanishes, and waves of fresh cerebrospinal fluid flush through the brain, cleaning out the entire day's accumulated waste. What happens when the glymphatic system fails? Because the brain generates waste every single hour you are awake, any breakdown in the glymphatic system causes a serious backup of toxic debris. Think of it like a citywide sanitation strike. Within days, the accumulation of garbage creates a major health crisis, the link to dementia and Alzheimer's disease. When the glymphatic system slows down or fails, proteins like amyloid-beta and tau stagnate in the brain tissue. Over time, these proteins form the hallmark plaques and tangles associated with Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Worse yet, this creates a dangerous, self-reinforcing cycle. As toxic plaques build up, they physically block the perivascular channels, choking off the fluid pathways. This structural damage slows down the glymphatic system even further, causing waste to accumulate even faster, which accelerates the progression of the disease. The loss of astrocyte polarity. To understand why the system breaks down with age, we have to look at the cellular level. In a young, healthy brain, the aquaporin 4 water channels are perfectly aligned. They display polarity, meaning they are densely packed only on the astrocytic end feet that touch the blood vessels, acting like perfectly placed drainage grates. As the brain ages, or when it experiences chronic stress and inflammation, this precision is lost. The AQP4 channels lose their polarity and scatter randomly across the entire body of the astrocyte. Without the water channels lined up along the blood vessels, the directed, pressurized flow of fluid collapses, and the brain loses its ability to flush waste efficiently. Traumatic brain injury and sports concussions. When a person experiences a traumatic brain injury, whether from a serious car accident or repetitive impacts in contact sports like football or soccer, the physical force sends shockwaves through the brain. These forces can tear, stretch, and damage the delicate perivascular sleeves surrounding the blood vessels. Following a concussion, astrocytes become hyperactive and inflamed, causing them to shed their AQP4 channels from the vascular walls. This immediate structural collapse traps metabolic waste in the injured area, triggering chronic inflammation. This helps explain why people with a history of brain trauma face a much higher risk of developing chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, later in life. How to protect your brain's plumbing system. The good news is that because the glymphatic system is a physical, fluid-driven network, you can actively support and protect it through daily lifestyle habits. By understanding the mechanical forces that drive the system, sleep cycles, heart rate, and blood vessel health, you can optimize your brain's night shift cleaning crew. Guard your deep sleep architecture. Since the brain only cleans itself during deep, slow-wave sleep, getting enough sleep and avoiding interruptions is the most critical factor for glymphatic health. Aiming for consistency by going to bed and waking up at the same time every day stabilizes your brain's internal clock. This makes it easier for your body to transition into deep, non-REM sleep where the majority of glymphatic clearing occurs. It is also vital to avoid sleep fragmentation. Waking up frequently throughout the night completely resets your sleep cycles. Even if you stay in bed for 8 hours, fragmented sleep prevents your brain cells from shrinking long enough to allow a thorough flush. Watching late-night screens and avoiding heavy meals right before bed can help, as blue light and heavy digestion suppress melatonin, the hormone necessary to signal deep sleep states. Consider your sleep position. Believe it or not, how you position your body on your mattress can change how easily fluid flows out of your skull. Medical imaging studies have shown that lateral sleeping, which means sleeping on your side, is significantly more efficient for glymphatic clearance than sleeping on your stomach or your back. When you sleep on your side, your head and neck align in a way that minimizes gravitational strain on the major veins and lymphatic pathways exiting the skull, allowing the waste-filled fluid to drain out easily. Move your body with aerobic exercise. Physical exercise is just as important for your brain's plumbing as it is for your muscles. Aerobic activities like running, swimming, cycling, or playing sports help the glymphatic system in 2 powerful ways. First, it boosts arterial pulsatility. Because cerebrospinal fluid is propelled through the perivascular spaces by the rhythmic pulsing of your cerebral arteries, regular cardiovascular exercise strengthens your heart and keeps your blood vessels elastic. This produces stronger, more effective pulses that pump fluid deeper into the brain tissue. Second, exercise helps preserve AQP4 precision. Research shows that consistent, daily physical activity actually prevents the AQP4 water channels from scattering as the brain ages. Exercise acts as a biological anchor, keeping the water channels perfectly positioned on the astrocytic end feet where they belong. Protect your cardiovascular health. Because the glymphatic pathways run directly alongside your blood vessels, protecting your heart health directly protects your brain health. Managing your blood pressure is a key part of this equation. Chronic high pressure forces the walls of your brain's arteries to become thick, rigid, and stiff. Stiffened blood vessels lose their ability to expand and contract, which stalls the mechanical engine of the glymphatic system. Additionally, minimizing sugar and trans fats reduces low-grade inflammation inside your blood vessels, protecting the delicate cells that form the perivascular highways. Finally, remember to stay hydrated. The glymphatic system relies on a steady volume of fluid to create and circulate cerebrospinal fluid, and chronic dehydration can reduce overall fluid turnover in the tissue. Steer clear of toxins and sedatives. While drinking alcohol or taking certain sleeping medications might make you feel tired or speed up how quickly you fall asleep, they actually sabotage your brain's ability to clean itself. Alcohol and sedative medications blunt the brain's natural electrical patterns, preventing your neurons from entering the highly synchronized, slow-wave states required to drive fluid flow. Additionally, alcohol triggers mild neuroinflammation, causing astrocytic support cells to swell rather than shrink, which locks down the extracellular pathways and traps waste inside the tissue. Conclusion: the ultimate brain balance. For centuries, sleep was viewed as a passive state, a simple timeout from the challenges of daily life. The discovery of the glymphatic system completely overturned this misconception. Sleep is an active, vital biological process designed to restore and rejuvenate your most critical organ. Every day you spend learning, studying, and playing, your brain city is working hard and building up waste. By prioritizing clean vascular health, moving your body, and fiercely protecting your deep sleep, you ensure that your brain's night shift can always complete its work, leaving you refreshed, sharp, and ready to face the challenges of tomorrow. Thank you for watching this video. If you feel it helpful, please subscribe to this channel and share it with someone you care about.